Kraken Pod Fam, what the fuck is up? Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. A little quiet tonight from the Colorado Avalanche side. Wasn't there a game going on? All of a sudden, like, those motherfuckers stopped chirping. They didn't say shit for 2 hours. What a freaking game. What a win, man. I mean, I agree. Afterwards, I think like Edzo at the end of the game was talking about how this was probably the most complete game that he's seen from the team this season. And, you know, Nicky O was kind of echoing that. Could not agree more. Like, this is the fucking team from last year. And I think it was Jeff that was tweeting this out, but he's like, dude, can we play the Avalanche all the time? Because this is awesome. I mean, what a freaking game. Just absolutely incredible. And also just a massive win for the Kraken. You know, the news comes out, the unfortunate news, like Eberle gets his leg cut in a practice. He's out. Fortunately, it's also coming out that he's now day-to-day, so it doesn't sound like it was that bad. Turbo was practicing with the team, but he didn't play tonight, you know, so we're a little spread thin. Winterton and Shane Wright get called up. They're on a fourth line with Shorzy. I honestly didn't know how I would feel about that. I was like, really? Like, that's going to be the fourth line? Turns out they have chemistry. They're fucking flying. I mean, unbelievable. Like, start to finish. It was a hell of a game. And I mean, I was getting ready to start sending out like, here we go to overtime and here we go to shootout tweets. Fortunately, that was not the case. All right, I'm pulling up notes from the game really quick so we can recap it. And then let's go over comments. Also, I'm still eating my dinner. I'm not going to turn this into like some weird ASMR shit or anything like that, but just giving everybody a heads up because your boy is hungry. All right, here we go. Notes from the game. Early on, Canner gets absolutely fucking crunched by O'Connor. You know, I don't really think it was dirty, but I think it was a hockey play, and I do think they're specifically targeting him because, you know, he's not leading the team in goals right now. I believe that's still Jaden Schwartz, who I said 2 weeks ago was like my dark horse for team MVP. That is no longer a dark horse. Like, everyone is well aware of what Jaden Schwartz is doing. The goal that he got tonight, that was his 8th game in a row with a point, which is his, oh shit. No way. Oh my God. I was not expecting this. You and I hadn't talked at all about doing Kraken Pod After Dark. I didn't know if you were coming on.
Well, I saw the tweet you put out about like, doing Kraken Pod After Dark. So I was like, all right, I'm watching the game, so I'm going to chime in. So it was awesome, man. I was freaking jacked.
I was just quickly going over it. I was talking about the hit by O'Connor on Jared McCann. Did you get a chance to watch like the first period and like part of the second or what?
No, actually, I was volunteering to set up my kids' Catholic school festival for the whole weekend. So we were like setting up tents and shit. So I missed the first, I would say,
dad duties.
Period and a half. Yeah. So fill me in.
So O'Connor, and it was a hockey play. I don't think it was a dirty play, but he absolutely levels Canner out. And it was one of those plays where in the middle of the broadcast, like as soon as it happened, basically afterwards, Edzo called out the entire team publicly. He was like, someone needs to step up and answer the bell because these teams are going after Jared McCann. And statistically, he's not the best goal scorer, but he's probably your best shooter on the team. And this is no longer acceptable. And so I was tweeting that out. And I was like, dude, this is what you and I have been talking about for the past couple of weeks. And I'm just glad that Edzo was saying something because I think, you know, the Kraken needed to respond to it. And Yanni Gord was getting a little chippy, but it was pretty nasty, man. Like Canner took a big hit. The fourth line of Shorzy, Winterton, and Wright were fucking buzzing. I mean, those guys were flying around the ice. They looked awesome. Schwartz scored again. That's his 8th game in a row with a point, which is his it ties his career high. But dude, like Bjorkstrand goes off. He has 2 goals, one with 31 seconds left to win. The last time that they played in Colorado for the game 7, he had 2 goals in that game too. Like, he is the fucking Avalanche killer. And Matty Beers for Beniers gets his first goal of the season. Like, he gets that month. There you go. There it is. Let's fucking go. Dude, it was just like start to finish, I really do feel like this is the most complete game of this season for the team. And I'm pumped on that because, again, I was just talking about this, but like Eberle gets his leg cut in practice. He's day-to-day. Turbo's practicing but not playing. Winterton and Wright come up. So, all right, man, go ahead. Take off with the comments while I still finish my dumplings over here.
Dumplings. That's awesome, dude.
I made it myself. No big deal.
Had a boy. Ty, thank you for the listening to the podcast this week and detailing the epic soccer fight, which was talked about tonight at the men's club meeting to set up the festival. So, yeah. So tonight's game was epic. I think the end of the game was perfectly encapsulated by Eddie Olczyk, who said, "This is the most complete game the Kraken have played all season long." And I don't know what it was. I'm not sure if it was, and this is a huge part of it. It's, the Avs. You're fired up. You got embarrassed on your home ice in the home opener, and that really kind of set the tone for I think that first stretch of the season. So the fact that they were coming into Colorado, they had to make a statement, and they played just perfectly the whole game. Like they were in it. They were chippy. They were physical. One thing that was interesting is I tuned in like halfway through the second period, and I was actually before I started driving home, I fired up ESPN to listen through my car to like a TV broadcast. So I picked the first one, and I got the Avalanche broadcast. I always want to listen to John Forsland and Eddie O, and the Kraken broadcast. So I'm listening to the TV broadcast for the Avalanche, and they in that like 10-minute drive talked about the hit from Cale Makar on Jared McCann. And
interesting.
It was interesting. I'm going to bring this up on the next podcast we record because they see it as like, and maybe we kind of see it the same way with like the Ebbs Cogliano hit, but they see it as like, basically said this, like, it was a freak thing that the puck came around the boards and Cale Makar didn't hear the whistle, and he, it was a hockey play, and he put which, look, I grew up hating the Avalanche, so maybe
they're delusional fucking homers, man. Let's be honest. I mean, that's ridiculous.
But the fact that people are still trying to make excuses for Cale Makar and what happened to Jared McCann is inexcusable. It's crazy. Yeah. So that was really interesting to hear. Also, by the way, too, props to you to the tweets earlier in the day, constantly trying to like pick and poke at the Avalanche fans who are just complete degenerates on Twitter. So long story short,
I'm glad someone caught that. I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just showing what happened the last time we played in Colorado, and it was game 7 of the playoffs. So I don't know why you're so upset. And then of course it's like, where's your banner? I'm like, dude, this is year 3. It's the same conversation every time. So I mean, I was loving it.
But I think like Melissa here is saying something awesome, like just a lot of big hits, man. Physical. These guys cared tonight. They were following through. They were making things happen. Like they were causing chaos, which was awesome. Like the whole game, they didn't give up. They pushed. And what happened? They were rewarded because they fought through things. They blocked, like they were doing all the things that they need to do. Like they were blocking
so many block shots, man, especially towards the end of the game. It was, I mean, they were laying bodies out. They were taking bullets at the end there.
It absolutely was just an awesome game all around because of the effort they put forth. And I don't know what it is. I have no idea if was it the Avs game? They just got fired up for that. We'll kind of find out over the next few games, like with the Oilers. We've got I think the Oilers kind of put one together tonight. I didn't check the scoreboard, but I kind of saw that I think they were doing okay. So like, can we squash their momentum on Saturday night and then come back and play against the Avs again and do the same thing? But this is a game to build on. I loved it. I think they rose to the challenge tonight based on what happened in that first game against the Avalanche where they got embarrassed and, they made a statement. So
yeah, I agree. But what you just said really quick though reminds me of the thing I was talking about on this week's episode when I was mentioning how the biggest thing that I've noticed with the team that's been bothering me is their inability to like build off of momentum. And so I agree, like this is a game that you have to build off of because not only is it a complete team game, but then you have some other factors like the rookies get called up. Matty Beniers gets the first goal of his season. So like hopefully he can get that weight off his shoulders and he can play more loose and contribute more. But I'm like, okay, now you're playing Edmonton and they're still trying to figure some things out, but they're not really good, but they have the talent there. You got to take this to Seattle, and you got to take care of Edmonton now, because I was worried that we're going to catch Edmonton at the wrong time. But like Seattle, like you said, this is a building game. They need to use this momentum moving forward, because every time they have the opportunity, they kind of fuck it up. Well, this is your opportunity. Like, you just took care of Colorado in Colorado. Go home and handle Edmonton, and it's Colorado again on Monday.
Yeah, I liked everything from everybody tonight. Like, Vince Dunn getting in there and like just grinding it out and battling. Yanni Gourde, like, stepping up. Like, you can go across, you can literally go down the whole lineup and you can say somebody contributed here. Like, Yams making a killer play to get in the zone. Like,
oh, dude, Yams went at Makar hard in the second, and he just missed him. Like, Makar saw it coming and like got out of the way at the last second. And it was funny. I'm like, dude, like, Yams is coming after his fucking head right now. I'm loving this.
Yeah. No, I think one thing that, like, Vince Dunn was on one tonight. He was the DJ before the game, as attributed by Piper Shaw. Ebbs, we heard from Piper Shaw that Ebbs is typically the pregame DJ in the locker room. But I challenged Piper Shaw, and we have to push her for that tomorrow, to give us that playlist. Like, we need to know what was the playlist in the locker room tonight before this Avs game that DJ Dundertaker put together, because it worked out pretty well. So everybody gets a star tonight. Just like everyone. Solid game. Yeah. So it was a really awesome game.
He had a beautiful hit on Cogliano in the third period, and Byram took offense to it and came at him, and Dundertaker just drops the gloves and just starts leveling him in the face. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then it's great because he gets a 2-minute, Byram gets a 4-minute double minor. And so we end up going on a power play for 2 minutes, and he's so fucking livid. I'm just laughing the whole time. Like, this is great. We get a clean hit. Then you come at us, and then you get your face beat in, and then you're in the penalty box for 4 minutes versus Dundertaker taking 2. We actually had, I don't know if you saw this, I think it was early in the second period. I'm going to have to dig it up. Somebody actually has a playlist from 2019 St. Louis Blues, Vince Dunn, of when he was controlling like the aux cord, and they have a playlist on Spotify, and they tweeted it to us. So I'm gonna have to pull that up, because I'm like, oh my God, this is pure gold.
All right, so the plan tomorrow is I'm going to be pestering Piper Shaw. I might sever that relationship we have with her as far as like a fan of the show and like a contributor to the show, but we need to know what music was played in that locker room. So it was great. I think
yes, absolutely.
Just love seeing the effort tonight. It was great to go into Colorado and come away with the win. Super happy with everything. So I tweeted, because like, if you, and thank you to everybody who's in here tonight, but like, if you follow along Twitter with us, Joey and I kind of go back and forth. Like, we just kind of, we randomly tweet whatever.
So like, most of the time we're double tweeting on the same thing.
Yep. So it'd be interesting to see like the people who really are into the show and follow us on Twitter, like, if they can peg who's tweeting what.
Yeah, but a lot of times you're aware of that, and you'll purposefully will like say some shit that I would say, and everyone's like, dude, Joey's going off. I'm like, I'm not even doing that.
Well, what's funny is like in the middle of the third period, I was like, I don't care what happens. I don't care if we lose this game. I basically said, if we don't, whatever happens tonight, I'm happy with this effort. Like, I want this effort every single night from the Seattle Kraken. And it was cool to hear that at the end of the game, like I mentioned before, with Eddie Olczyk saying, man, this is the most complete effort that we've seen from the Seattle Kraken so far. So like the dumplings, like, are they frozen? What did you like? Just
I didn't actually make like dumplings from scratch. The Trader Joe's dumplings, are insane.
Legit. I've had those.
The trick is, because I used to be real lazy, because you can like damp a paper towel. No, I don't have an air fryer.
Oh,
I know. It's a conversation for another time.
It's all right.
Maybe our 3 stars of the week. No, I used to like just take like a damp paper towel and microwave them, because you can do that.
Yeah.
But the trick is, you actually put them in a pan and you fry them for a little bit until they get nice and brown, and then you do like a little layer of water, and then you cover it. You let them simmer, and then you just kind of rotate a little bit, and then they're ready to go.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm no fucking chef over here, but yeah, there you go. Welcome to Trader Joe's Corner.
I made the gumbo tonight before going to the setup for the festival, so it turned out pretty good. Yeah, actually turned out pretty good. It was a non-traditional gumbo. So I would say that like if you tasted it, you'd be like, all right, this is solid. This is good. For my second gumbo ever, I'm pretty happy with it. So there's some tweaks that have to be made. A little too much chili powder. The kids did not appreciate that. So next time around, I have to, scale that down a little bit. But
yeah, my tummy hurts. Like, eat the fucking gumbo.
we shifted gears. We changed the game plan. I put all the gumbo in the fridge, and they had some like sausage and rice and vegetables, and they did just fine. So
nice,
pretty good.
I'm looking through. I'm looking through comments right now to make sure we really didn't miss anything. If there's anything on the game, but whatever. Just a couple. Oh shit! I thought I clicked show. I just from Rush Anthony. And by the way, Jeff, on a quick side note, now I'm gonna put money on this. Rush Anthony, he works nights. And he works at Boeing. So I'm going to put money right now that he's at Boeing watching this right now.
Sweet.
So, shout out to Rush Anthony. But, Beniers was awesome. It was so good to have him finally have that freaking moment. I mean, it was only a matter of time. There were a couple of spots in the game where I thought he actually had a chance to score, and he kind of passed it up. And Edzo was calling him out publicly on the broadcast. He was like, hey, man, like, you got to skate around to the front of the net there. You can't skate away or do whatever. Like, if you're trying to get your first goal of the season, this is what you got to do. And it ends up working out. So that was awesome.
You know what's awesome is I love, I thought about this because you've got John Forsland.
Yep, he's at work right now.
And Eddie Olczyk.
Yeah.
We're so blessed, which, if the Kraken are like your first hockey team, we're so blessed to have these two guys talking during a game because they're so, number one, they're so confident in each other and themselves that it's like art, and they just talk and have conversations.
It's like the opposite of what we have.
Exactly. Yes. So, but the stuff they say, the things that they put out there, and the way they talk about things, and the fact that like Eddie O is calling people out, and that comfort level there, like there's definitely broadcast people across the league that give you that, but not many like these two guys. So like the combined, 60 years of broadcast experience between them. It's like, it's so awesome to hear them talk. And I love that sort of stuff. I love them, just being like, hey, look, we're homers, but we're not. Like, we're going to call people out, which is what you got to do, because that's what you want. Like,
I agree.
Broadcast guys, coaches, you want to be called out. You have to call a spade a spade. So I love to hear that.
You're going to love this. And I kind of forgot about it a little bit, but first period when Canner gets just smashed by O'Connor and Edzo's calling the team out, and he's like, someone has to answer the bell. Like, you can't keep coming after Canner like this. Like, someone needs to step up. So he goes into this weird analogy. He's like, these guys think they can go to the grocery store and buy a dozen eggs and put them in their pants and come home with the egg still intact. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I understood the reference, but it was such an Edzo thing for him to do. Also, I think his neighing is down this season. Now, he hasn't neighed as much, maybe because the team hasn't been winning as much. But anyways, so the analogy of the eggs in the pants, I'm like, what the hell? And then, of course, him and Forsland start going back and forth. And he's like, I bet you like eggs. And Forsland's like, yeah, I like scrambled eggs. And then so they start talking about eggs. And then they go to a break right after that. I think it was the first intermission. And somebody was tweeting out about how absurd their conversation was. Like, what are these guys talking about? And I quote tweeted it. And I was like, I was really hoping that John Forsland would have taken this opportunity to make a joke about making a Denver omelet. I'm like, dude, the setup is right there for you. This is a Denver omelet joke all the way. And he saw it during the intermission break while he was working. He liked the tweet. So it's like, all right, cool. Respect.
That's awesome. So Curtis is saying that I guess they sit up there in the morning skates and they kind of analyze the team and check it out. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So
these guys are definitely committed, which is nice. So all in all, tonight was it was great. It's great to see. We definitely needed that. It's still early. How are you feeling with your panic button prediction from the last podcast where you were saying Vancouver coming up on Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that last part. I cut out for a second. What'd you say?
Oh, I was saying after tonight's game and feeling so good, where are you with, we were talking in the last podcast episode about how you were putting the panic button, game being Vancouver on Thanksgiving. Are you still sticking to that? Do you feel better about that compared to tonight?
No, I'm still sticking to it because it's not even about the team they're playing. It's more about the date of everything. Because I think at that point in the season, there's a good enough sample size. If they were playing the freaking, I don't know, the Maple Leafs. Like I would have the same feeling if they were playing Arizona again. Like it's more about the date than it is the actual team. I'm still sticking to it because my biggest thing, that I already mentioned this, but I'll quickly say it again. My biggest thing is like, I want to see this team build momentum. Like this is a game you build off of. Like you went into Colorado and you handled business. You played a fucking awesome hockey game. You're going to go back home a little bit bruised. A lot of guys were taking bullets tonight. I mean, it was a really impressive team win, but can you get this momentum? Can you beat an Edmonton team that's like down bad right now? And then how's it going to look on Monday when you have to go against Colorado again? Because like, it's hard. You watch every single game and I think we do a pretty good job of not like living and dying by every single game, because right now it's like, oh my God, the Kraken are great. And then what happens? Like if they get blown up by Edmonton, you're like, oh, this fucking team sucks. I can't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, right. I think we do a good job of that. I just want to see this team be able to build. I mean, the longest winning streak they've had all season is 2 games. That's it. And they've only done it 1 time. So it's like, all right, boys, at some point you have to start stringing some things together and take advantage of teams that are kind of down like Edmonton, and realize that like this is your opportunity. 8 Mile style, Detroit, born and raised, myself, not you. But no, man, like
nope.
No, I'm not changing the panic button date. I'm going to keep it there, but okay. I'm really curious to see how these next couple of games go, because I'm a little biased right now because I'm a little bit caught up in the moment after an awesome game that we just witnessed. But like, I do feel confident that they can take care of Edmonton at home. Like I really, really do. Now, again, Edmonton has the skill set there. It's not like they're just a bad team and we can just beat up on them. It's not like we have fucking San Jose on Saturday. But I don't know, man. I'm curious. I want these boys to be able to get some momentum going. So that's where I'm at.
So this is something that I didn't really pay attention to too much for the game because I only saw like the last half of the game. But the big news going into the game was Shane Wright and Ryan Winterton coming up. From Coachella to come play with the Kraken tonight on the 4th line. And I didn't specifically pay attention to what was going on with them. What did you see? I think, in the grand scheme of things, obviously having like that young leg 4th line, maybe
Coachella boys.
The
Coachella boys. Yeah.
Right. The Coachella boys probably helped to wear out the Avalanche a little bit to let the rest of the team work hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, did these guys, and you may not know, but like, did they show up on the stat sheet? I have to go see the line from the game here, but like, what did you see from these guys? Cause I was just like kind of coming in hot, watching the game, watching them win the game. I didn't really pay too much attention to these 2 dudes. So
Jeff, of course I know. I'm a lifelong hockey fan. I know everything.
Look, I know you're
gotta get rid of no dumb questions. I'm tired of explaining to all these fucking noobs all this wealth of knowledge that I have about the game of hockey.
That's why I asked you this question.
No, man. They were above and beyond the best line, not throughout the entire game, because like the Bjorky line, like they ended up showing out, but like the first period, absolutely. Like and I forget like what their average time on ice was, but it was really up there. And it was to a point where like, again, this is why like our broadcast crew, Edzo and Forsland, were calling it out. They're like, these guys, they were the best line in the first period. We got to get them out on the ice more. But then they were like, that kind of puts the Kraken in a weird position, because at some point, you keep giving these guys minutes, they're going to end up going against like Makar and McKinnon. And then you might start to have a problem there. But with that being said, they were skating their asses off. They were generating a lot of opportunities, and they were flying around, and their chemistry really stood out to me. It's almost like they were all teammates at Coachella. And no, they did not miss a beat. And it was really cool because, was it yesterday, the day before? I don't know. Time is construct. When the news came out that Winterton and Shane Wright got called up. And I went and I found this play from I think like earlier in this season or something like that, doesn't matter, of Winterton like setting up Shane Wright beautifully for like a one-timer goal. And I wanted to find something like that to kind of get an idea like what their chemistry looked like and how they played off of each other. Shane Wright had an A+ opportunity to score like midway through the first period today that was set up by his line. Like Shorzy was finding them. Like everything just looked really, really good. Like their chemistry looked awesome. They did not look like 2 rookies coming in playing, along Shorzy. Like these guys are ready to roll. And it was really, really impressive. I did not see really a weakness in that line at all. In fact, I think it gave the team an overall really good boost.
Yeah, it was fresh legs.
Yeah.
Needed that sort of sea change to kind of mix things up a little bit because, like it was nice to hear that Ebbs is day to day. So it's obviously not like a serious injury, which is
Thank
nice.
God.
Like the skate cut to the leg, which obviously, top of mind with everything that's going on in the league with skates and injuries like that. So that's nice to hear.
That happened to Colorado. Did that happen to Landeskog by his own teammate?
Yeah.
And he hasn't been the same since.
Yep. So that's brutal. And we miss Ebbs, but it was a blessing and a curse there to have, these young guys come in and add that extra energy to the team. So, whatever they did tonight, whatever they have to do to keep that sort of like energy charge going. And like in the first few minutes that I was listening to the game, like I told you in the car, and even listening to I'll give, credit to the Avalanche broadcast team. I told you they already kind of like made, no big deal out of the whole McCann hit, but they did say this has a playoff atmosphere. This game has a playoff atmosphere back to what it was. And I felt that. Yeah. If the Kraken can bottle that energy and continue to do that moving forward and treat every game that way. And look, like, I don't know if you know this, Joey, but I don't necessarily know how to condition the human body for an NHL hockey game. So, like I wish I could say whatever they did
starts with gumbo. So you're doing it right.
Totally. Gumbo and some beers for Beniers. But like whatever they did to like get ready for that game today, if that means like, Dundertaker takes over the DJ duties for the rest of the season, they got to eat their pasta, whatever it was, but they were on one tonight. They cared. They cared like for the entire game. They cared for 60 minutes. Like they cared for literally like, 59 minutes and 28 seconds. So like they made it happen. They made it work. Amazing effort. And I there's no reason why we can't do this every single night and try to make good things happen. So
yeah. Also the first Bjorkstrand goal, it won't show up on the stat sheet, but that goal, I mean, legitimately was set up because of that young fourth line. Like they were, again, putting so much pressure and were just living inside of Colorado's zone, and there was nothing they could do about it. And there ended up being a change. And I think as a result of that, the Bjorkstrand line comes in and they take advantage of it. But like, again, I think he even got called out during the broadcast. Edzo's like, you got to give that entire fourth line a point. I mean, that was ridiculous. Like they're playing so freaking well, and it reverberates throughout the entire rest of the team. I mean, it was just freaking awesome to see. I'm so freaking pumped, man. And yeah, to the comment here from Just Steve, he almost had his first NHL goal. Shane Wright almost had a goal like early on in the game. I mean, these boys were fucking buzzing. It was really, really impressive.
Yeah, they both recorded one shot on goal, which was nice. So
yeah,
they were a huge part of this game. They got in and they mixed it up. So they, we're on one. So it was awesome. So I'd love to hear it.
I think Emerald City Hockey tweeted out something like their like shots, like their high quality percent was like 92%. The fourth line in the first period. I was like, holy shit. I mean, like they're talking like A+ opportunities to score. I mean, these boys are playing. So it was awesome to see.
Oh, also too, I do want to give credit to this tweet, which is pretty awesome, was there was a lot of talk about Piper Shaw's interview with Matty Beniers in the second intermission after he scored his goal, and how he was happy. Right. The stash. He was happy about getting that monkey off his back, which is great. But he was getting razzed for having that stash. You know what? Look,
it's November.
He's a young man living his best life as an NHL hockey player, a stud in the NHL. He just got his first goal of the season, get his monkey off his back, and people are razzing him for having like a stash. Well, what I said in that tweet was, we've been told, and from what I understand, after watching too, like the Nintendo feature where they had the Kraken players out there to play Mario Kart, that I'm pretty sure that Matty Beniers is like the best Mario Kart player on the Seattle Kraken. So I'm telling you, in that screenshot of Piper Shaw's interview, he was channeling some very big Luigi energy.
I like it. No, big Luigi energy.
And we all know, like anybody who's has played any Nintendo, Super Mario, anything at all, Luigi really is the rock star. Like he's the better choice over Mario any day in any game whatsoever. Yeah. So
I dressed up as Luigi for one Halloween because I'm Italian. I'm also tall, and I have a friend, he's a little short guy. He's got some weight on him. I was like, dude, you want to be Mario and Luigi and go to this music festival? So that's what we did.
Dude, I could totally
see Luigi energy.
That little green cap on and the green overalls. Like, I could see that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I can see that. It's awesome. So anyway, I think that keep the stash, whatever he's got going on, he's feeling it. We talked about this in the podcast episode that we recorded the other day after the game on Tuesday against Arizona. Like, he was flying around. Maddie is feeling it. He's going to be fine. Will he have the point totals that he had last year? He might not, but like, he's learning a lot this year, and he's setting himself up for, he'll still be fine this year. He's setting himself up for, I think next year having a really good year, but I'm going to predict like in 2 seasons, so like 25, 26.
So it's such a weird year to think about.
Oh, dude.
I don't know.
It's weird. Yeah. But he's a top 10 scorer in the league. He's going to put it, because when we're going to see his, like the electricity he had when he first came into the league, combined with like building muscle, building skill, knowing the game. I mean, he's been buzzing the last 2 games. So Manny Beniers, I think, is just getting cranked up.
Well, also, if you remember last year, he has like his game was interesting because he has these like, it was kind of like a roller coaster, because he would go through like these extended droughts, and then he would go through these periods where he got really hot, and then you would see him, getting like a point a night kind of a thing. So I'm not saying he's going to score again on Saturday, but am I surprised if he ends up getting another point and starts, start getting hot, and then we start being like, oh, that's the Matty from last year. That's the kid we remember. I won't be surprised by that at all, because that's what he did last season. And now that monkey is off his back, I think that he's in a really good position to be able to just be a little bit more loose. Like, you don't have to think about it anymore, man. It's done. Like, just go out there and play your freaking game. You're incredibly intelligent. You're highly talented. Go do your thing.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. And like Michael just said, is we don't need to overreact right now. I do like the fact that you had that panic.
Fresh off this one, I'm like, oh.
Well, the effort we got tonight was pretty solid, and we know that this team has that, like in their heart, in their soul.
Yeah.
So like
Bjorkstrand does shit like this tonight. Just one player, for example, like we're watching, like, yeah, this is what he's capable of.
Right.
Look what he did in Columbus. I mean, like, he is that dude. It's just a matter of like, is it going to be his night or not? It's just so great to see moments like that come through.
Yep.
Like, it's done playing the way. I mean, like, I'm just so happy with the team. Like you said, every single player, every single line deserves some credit. I don't know who they're going to give the Davy Jones hat to. Who would you have to guess?
Bjorky. It's got to be Bjorky.
Yeah, that was
it has to. Like,
easy answer. Yeah. 31 seconds left. He's like, yeah, fuck overtime. Like, thank God, because we're not doing an overtime / shootout again, man. We can't do it.
Well, like, you know what? If I could give the team, if I could give the hat to like the whole defense, I think they did a fantastic job tonight. I really liked and that's who I would give it to, is the whole defense, because we've had so many issues with that for the whole season, where in some games they looked like either they were just completely gassed or didn't give a shit, and it could have been both. But things were just an absolute mess, and I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes there, but tonight the defense was on one, and it was a tough game. They were hitting, they were blocking shots, they were and like towards the end of the game, the Avalanche had some awesome pressure, and there was lots of block shots. There was lots of chipping out the zone. So the defense was right on top of it tonight. So to be honest, like, the easy answer is Bjorky. 2 goals, awesome effort. Love to see that sort of stuff, because we know that guy is really an offensive superstar.
Yeah, but he's a stud. He kind of took a back seat, with Burakovsky coming in. But dude, I mean, he's got the talent. We have not talked about this yet. We can make this the last thing that we talked about.
Sure.
Did you see the hit on Lincoln?
I did not. No, I didn't.
I mean hockey play. It was really weird. So they're both skating towards. I think they're skating towards Grew. I'm trying to remember what side of the ice they were on. Doesn't matter. And they're kind of skating alongside of each other. It kind of looked like Lincoln was going to intentionally make a little bit of contact with Big Rig, and Big Rig was trying to kind of avoid it. So he kind of pushed him a little bit. Lincoln goes flying head first, head down, right into the boards, like crunches his neck and face. It was bad. But it was such a clear, like, Big Rig he didn't hit him really at all. Like they were kind of skating next to each other. It's like the crowd wasn't even booing for once because as fans can be, a little special sometimes riding the short bus. But it was crazy. It was sad to see because Lincoln was down for an extended period of time. By the time he gets up, his face has blood all over it. He had to get help to get off the ice, went straight to the locker room. I don't think there's been an update on his injury, but Big Rig was over there and was personally checking on him. And then when he got up was like, hey man, are you okay? And I thought that was a really great moment to see. But cool. It's unfortunate because this was a legitimate, just a straight up hockey play, just a freak coincidence. He went into the boards at the wrong angle, but man, it did not look good. If you get a chance to see that highlight, I would definitely take a look at it.
Yeah, I will.
And he's a big part of their team, obviously, too. So I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what's at the end of the day, there's some bad blood between these teams, but they're pro athletes and nobody wants to see anybody else really get hurt, right?
No,
so
it's not like the Kel McCarr situation, which was very intentional.
Right. And he's still the douche. But overall, just I like to see everything. And we're getting mentions here in the comments here too, like Gru having a solid game. We haven't talked about Gru whatsoever, but he did a great job tonight. He did the fact that we're talking about every other aspect of the Seattle Kraken's effort tonight and not talking about goaltending is a really good is a really great thing because, in years past, we would be breaking down the goaltending, like what happened here, what happened there. And I think that's a testament to the fact that the goaltending has been very solid all year long. And we've talked about this in the podcast quite a bit. The fact that there's, the stats are not great when it comes to goaltending. We're at the bottom, but we've seen it game to game. They performed great. So Gru had a great game. The defense looked really good tonight and they battled hard. And those forwards battled hard too. And I think a big part of that was that extra juice from the fourth line. And those young dudes brought some new energy to the game. So there's new energy with this team. Will that continue? It's been one game with that energy. I hope to see it in Edmonton. They can make a statement. We don't know what we're going to get with this team, but we do need to make a statement at home. We have to.
Yes.
We do need to make
especially if you're charging fans, $16,000 for lower bowl seating. I'm just saying.
It's Saturday night in Seattle, hockey night in Seattle. You have to have that, you've got to go, you've got to do it. So I would like to see the Kraken get to beat Colorado twice, right? In 5 days is going to be tough. So got to get that win against the Oilers. So I'm looking.
Yeah, no, absolutely need to. And Gru, we just talked about him. I will just say he had some massive saves when the team needed him the most. I mean, just incredible. The only thing I want to do at this point is, can we bring in a hypnotherapist or something to hypnotize Bjorkstrand into thinking that he's playing at Ball Arena when he's at Climate Pledge? Because that guy fucking loves playing in Denver so much. He goes off. I mean, I don't know what it is, but he really feeds off the energy there and the crowd and just that arena. And I'm like, dude, whatever you got to do, just get in the mind frame of you're at Ball Arena and just keep doing that. Because if we had that Bjorky for every game, holy hell.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think everybody's pretty happy about tonight. Great to see it. We'll see what happens on Saturday night. And
concur.
I love the effort tonight. So it's always good to beat the Avalanche. Love it.
Yep. That's it, man. That's a wrap. Anything else?
No, I think we're good, man. I think going into a weekend we got the kids have no school tomorrow, so I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. Wife's going to work.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thank you so much. But then we got festival stuff all weekend long. I just volunteered to go. I'm going to be working a food booth on Saturday afternoon at my kids' school festival. So I'm going to be.
You're a good man.
It's I get to drink beer with friends, and
I'm going to be getting drunk watching college football and then watching Kraken hockey.
And what's awesome, too, is there actually may be a TV in the food booth with football on.
Nice.
Drinking beer and handing food over. So
yeah, that sounds productive.
I mean, it's technically I'm volunteering to do this. So
yeah, I mean, you doing literally anything is a benefit to them.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, the bar's low.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, man. Well, this has been fun. So it's good to be here. Let's do some more after dark with the Kraken Pod after wins. We need more of these.
I know we need more of these. The energy is so much better. It's so hard to come on at like midnight after the Kraken just got their asses handed to them. It's like, oh God.
I'm giving you permission, by the way, to like not do this if it's just that brutal. So like, just don't do it.
I've taken a couple. Well, I was traveling, so I couldn't unless I'm like, I mean, I was out for my birthday. But no, I've taken like a couple of games off because of travel and whatnot. And then the other night I was going to do it, my internet cut out. And so I was watching the freaking game from my phone, just using my 5G or whatever. That was frustrating as shit. That was in Arizona, by the way.
That's true. Oh, and by the way, Curtis, look at that. So, hey, Joey, happy Veterans Day, man. Thanks for your service. Appreciate you, brother.
Happy to do it.
Yeah. So we're celebrating that, I think, officially tomorrow.
Is that Veterans Day tomorrow? I honestly have no idea.
It's Saturday, but like banks are celebrating it tomorrow. So
yeah, because they just wanted to take a day off. They
take the day off tomorrow, man. You're a vet. You served our country. You need to be chilling, man. Salute to you.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm a little lazy.
All right, cool. Enjoy. Be lazy. Enjoy the win. Happy Veterans Day. Go Kraken.
All right, later, Kraken Pod Fam.
All right, brother. Thanks.